G'day there. My name's Will. I'm the face, I guess, behind Leprechaun Listening. If you're listening to this, you're hopefully going to listen to the first part of Chapter 1 of Sydney Babylon, which will be released tomorrow at midday Sydney time. My name's Will. As I've mentioned, I'm an aspiring science fiction fantasy author. My I guess inspirations, my authors that I look to as inspirational figures are Raymond Feist, Stephen King, Isaac Asimov. Really enjoyed the work of Stephen Baxter. Really enjoyed the first of the Proxima series of books. The second one was well, I'll get into reviews down the track, but anyway. So you're hopefully going to be listening to a story tomorrow, Monday, or in the next video that you see from me. You're going to be listening to a story called Sydney Babylon. Sydney Babylon is a story about a high school teacher who finds himself somehow transported to an alternative version of Sydney in 1997. It's a Sydney that's not like the Sydney that well was in 1997. It's an alternative version where something has gone very, very wrong in the past, and Sydney is now the, I guess, the last bastion of what we all in the world today would consider to be the the civilized world. I started writing the story in 2020 at the some personal things in my life, some personal relationships and such were maybe not the greatest and most positive and uplifting experiences that one would wish to have, and I certainly wouldn't wish that on anybody. But I wrote this story and I thought, well, how would how would I respond to somehow living in an environment where one needs to be one needs to be the way that a man was in I guess in pre-industrial society. And my existence and the life I've lived for the last 46 years has been one of relative comfort. It's been considerable heartache and difficult and pain, emotional pain over the last 5 or 6 years, but no real physical discomfort. And I've sort of wondered, how would we as a 21st century species that never has to worry about where our next meal comes from, tackle a dystopian world? The story that I'm hoping you'll tune in and listen to over the next, God knows how long, but little while anyway. I'm hoping this story is one that will engage you. I really do try my best to write engaging characters. It's told from a first person point of view, so the character telling you the story is actually living the story. There's a couple of little interludes, if you like, where we get a bit of a snapshot of what happened prior to David's arrival in this hellhole of Sydney, uh, to set it up, I guess. As well as this story, I'm really hoping to be able to put on some videos about my opinions. I don't want to call them reviews, but my opinions on some writings that have inspired me over the last, I guess 30 years that I've been paying particular attention to fantasy and science fiction and movies as well. As a young man, one of my favorite stories was the story of the Last Starfighter, a sort of a Star Wars knockoff science fiction film from the mid '80s. I remember my parents taking me to see it or taking my brothers and sister and I to see it in Hanwood, in Western New South Wales near Griffith in the mid '80s, and watching it in from the van or the camp chair. I can't remember how we watched it, but watching it with the desert sky in the background, and it just being amazing. And of course, Star Wars. I'm of that generation where Star Wars was not just a really cool movie, but sort of really shaped the way that I look at the world and the way that I understand politics and the way that I understand, the right way to act as a human being. I'm hoping to be able to maybe talk a little bit about football. The football I like is rugby league and rugby union. I don't really follow soccer or Australian rules, which is the other football code here in Australia. I follow rugby league. I follow rugby union. The mighty Penrith Panthers are my team, and from next year it'll be the Perth Bears, who are the I guess descendants of the North Sydney Bears. Really enjoy really hope. I don't enjoy so much because they're not so successful, but I really hope for the success and prosperity of the New South Wales Waratahs and the Australian Wallabies. So Leprechaun Listening will be talking a little bit about the rugby really, and in the Australian winter, northern summer, talk a little bit about the Six Nations. Scotland did a wonderful job this year, and we're sort of bees dick from being competitive, of being the Six Nations champions. We are the reigning Five Nations champions, so it's something nobody can take from us, I guess. But this channel is about stories, and the story that I'm going to be reading to you, that you'll see a really cool cartoon leprechaun on your screen while you hear it, is a story that is about a guy who's finding himself in an alien situation. It's a story that I'm hoping can engage people and let people let go of the mundaneness of life and the ordinariness and the troubles and turmoils that they might experience. Because at the end of the day, that's what good fiction's about. Good fiction's about giving people an opportunity to sort of put aside their daily strifes and problems and embrace the unknown. So thanks for tuning in, and tomorrow, Monday, midday Sydney time, you will be able to have a bit of a listen to the first part of the first chapter of Sydney Babylon. Thanks very much.